A scary scene in South Philly. Knights take over Lincoln Financial Field.
Plus recaps for men's and women's soccer and their playoff push. We've got it all in the next half hour of OwlSports Update, and it starts right now. Hello, hello, all you ghouls and goblins. Happy Halloween. Welcome into a very spooky edition of OwlSports Update. I'm Brian Steinmetz. Alongside me is Sean McGeehan, and we have a very eerie show for you guys today.
We'll enter the Twilight Zone. That is volleyball's match with Tulsa, or maybe women's soccer versus Delaware State. Plus, Dom Gillespie joins the show for Witching Hour, which is his way of looking ahead at football's last 3 games. But first, let's take a look back at football's scary performance against a conference foe. Lincoln Financial Field might has well been a haunted house for Temple football on Saturday with UCF in town.
Maybe the nighttime game threw them off, or maybe the Owls were just seeing ghosts. But there's only one word to describe this performance from the team: scary. It was a game the Owls needed to keep pace in the AAC East Division.
We'll start this scary performance off in the first half for all you Temple fans. That's where you find any positive highlights for the Owls. Anthony Russo connects with Randall Jones here for a 32-yard touchdown. That's one of 2 on the day for Russo to go along with his 2 interceptions. Now, let's take a look at the Knights. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel and company respond with a perfect drive ending in 7 of UCF's 21 first-half points.
Temple could not stop the run either. 385 yards on the ground for the Knights. Adrian Killens had 52 of those. 48 of that 52 came from this touchdown run. 2 other UCF running backs find the end zone on the night. And hey, who said quarterbacks can't run too? Because Daryl Mack begs to differ. He gets more points on the board for the Knights with this touchdown run.
Let's get back to the Owls real quick. Brandon Mack was a bright spot for Temple in this one. He finds the end zone here after an absolute dime pass from Russo. It doesn't make much of a difference in the outcome of the game, but it was a nice play nonetheless. Dylan Gabriel back in at quarterback for UCF now. He threw for 218 yards in the day and added 2 more touchdowns, including this one to Trey Nixon for 28 yards, a dime in the corner of the end zone.
A struggling Owls special teams unit comes up big here. IGM, Isaiah Graham Mobley, scoops up the ball after UCF muffs the 43-yard punt from Adam Berry. 6 plays later, this results in a touchdown for Temple's Jagger Gardner to cut the deficit to 28-21 right before halftime, giving Temple some sort of life going into the half, but the Knights still have the lead.
That's right, still with the lead. They'll actually keep it for the rest of the game. Third quarter on, and it's all UCF. 35 unanswered points. Let me repeat that. 35 unanswered points for UCF. That also includes 4 touchdowns over a 7-minute span of the third quarter. It's a rout, ladies and gentlemen. Pack your bags. It's time to go home. UCF obliterates Temple in this one and wins it by a score of 63-21.
First half, I thought we were right in it. Obviously came out the way we wanted to, and then ended the half the way we wanted to. And then came out in the second half, got a big stop, and had the ball at the 50, and did nothing with it. And then the game kind of broke open from there.
You know, this week we had to sit down, not with the coaches, as the players, and figure out, you know, what we have to do as a team to regroup, to fix what we've done, and to fix, you know, when things don't go our way, how we're going to fix it and, you know, turn games around.
A lone bright spot for the Owls was Brandon Mack, who tied the Owls' single-season record, getting his 4th 100-yard game of the season as he hauled in 5 catches for 104 yards.
UCF thumped the Owls in just about every offensive category. In fact, the Knights had more rushing yards than Temple had total yards. Temple was shut out in the second half despite winning time of possession. So it's officially a slump. Back-to-back losses where the Owls have been outscored 108-42. Remember, just 2 weeks ago, this Temple team was 5-1 and nationally ranked. Not too many saw 2 blowouts like this coming. OwlSports Update's Max Green was at the game and has more.
For a second straight week, the Owls put together a disappointing result against an AAC foe. But this time it was up close and it became pretty personal as the UCF Knights handed Temple not only its worst loss of the year, but also its first home loss. And they did it in front of 30,000 at Lincoln Financial Field.
We just played so bad in all three phases in the second half.
Temple just was simply outmatched as UCF figuratively and literally ran all over the Owls, totaling 385 rushing yards. And this came against a defense that was considered one of the top units in the country just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously explosive backs, and I think that at times we did a nice job versus it, but just certainly you give them a crease, they're going to go. And they certainly did, and we couldn't get them down enough times.
You know, when things go bad, they continue to just get worse and worse. We got to find a way to, regroup as a team and, be able to turn things around. We expected a lot more of ourselves. There's no reason to come together and correct the mistakes.
In a year with so much promise, the Owls must fight to get something out of this season in these remaining 4 weeks. Reporting from Lincoln Financial Field, I'm Max Green, OwlSports Update.
Maybe it comes at the right time, but Temple is off this weekend for its second bye week of the season. The Owls will try to regain their winning ways when the team travels to USF next Thursday, November 7th. The Owls are still looking for their 6th win of the year. That would make them bowl eligible for the 6th straight season. Staying with the trend of our Halloween theme today, it's witching hour for Temple football. Just 4 games left, all against conference opponents.
And just 1 win from being bowl eligible, like you said. Here to talk more about the Owls' last third of the season is Inside the Nest reporter Dom Gillespie. Dom.
Well, as you can see by the graphic behind me, the Owls were a little bit too in tune with the Halloween theme on Saturday, shocking and scaring all fans with the blowout loss thanks to a rough second half. The witching hour is upon us because there is still a long road ahead with many tough opponents still on the schedule. It was Temple's last 3 games that had many fans referring to this part of the season as a gauntlet. 2 nationally ranked teams in Memphis and SMU, and then a 2-time defending conference champs in UCF that handed the Owls their worst loss of the season. However, you look to the next 3 games, and the going does not get any easier, taking on a red-hot USF team, a very capable Tulane team, and traveling on the road to take on the team atop the East in the Cincinnati Bearcats. South Florida went 3-1 in the month of October, losing only to Navy. Over that span, their defense allowed 25 points per game. To put that into perspective, the Owls D let up more than 38 points per game in October. Next game, the Tulane Green Wave have 3 losses on the season, and 2 of them are against ranked opponents. And the one that wasn't was to Navy on a last-second field goal. Home field is not a lock anymore. Tulane is going to come to Philly with some fire. Owls need to be ready for a game when the Green Wave ride into town. Not a whole lot to preview against Cincy. They're the best team in the East, and the Owls are going on the road. A win here is like expecting to get king-size candy bars on Halloween. Could it happen? Yeah. Will it happen? Let's just say a lot of things are going to have to fall into place. Last game of the season is UConn. The Huskies at home is almost a lock. If Temple can pull off a win against USF or Tulane, then beating UConn will help their bowl resume. Could carry a little more weight than previous seasons. Again, it all starts back up next Thursday down in sunny FLA. Reporting from Plasma, I'm Dom Gillespie. Sean and Brian, back to you guys.
Good stuff, Dom. Thanks so much. The AAC has been scaring opponents in more ways than one this season.
Yeah, most of the AAC has been scary good against non-conference foes. Take, for instance, Temple's wins over Maryland and Georgia Tech. Now, we could look to the field for more evidence, or maybe something to do with the names of its players. On this Halloween, let's take a look at the AAC All-Halloween team.
Starting at quarterback is SMU quarterback Shane Buechele. See what we did there? Buechele scorched Temple earlier this season, so I like him at QB. Next up, we'll have USF wideout Eddie McDoom. He's a quick threat on the outside, ready to strike at any second.
Now let's place Cam Jackal on our offensive line to protect Buechele, and we can head up to Connecticut, where there's a lot of spooky stuff going on the field for the Huskies. Shamo Lazarus is hoping to help this team rise from the dead, as the Huskies haven't had close to a winning season since 2015.
Let's stay up there in UConn. Linebacker Hunter Webb does his best to stop opposing running backs in their tracks.
And tangled webs here, as Braxton Webb, down from SMU, is certainly having no issues corralling the defenses, as SMU is ranked 15th in the country. But honestly, I'm getting a little spooked from all the looks of this team. So let's take a quick break, but don't go anywhere.
We still have more to get to on the other side of the break, including field hockey recaps from Villanova and Rutgers. Plus, a pair of brothers on the men's basketball team are ready to hit the gas. Do not turn that dial.
And Snyder, when OwlSports Update returns, we'll have a story for you on how the men's soccer team is preparing for another playoff run. We'll be back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Women's soccer versus Delaware State over the weekend, and it was senior day. The women didn't have much of a problem, even in the rainy conditions. Going into the half, the Owls led 1-0, but it was in the second half where the Owls pulled away, scoring 3 more goals. Madison B. and Haley Gutowski took this one into their own hands with 2 goals each. Only 3 shots on goal for Delaware State certainly helped the Owls get back in the win column.
Temple is currently tied for 7th in conference going into its regular season finale against UConn tonight. The top 6 in the American make the postseason, so Temple needs a win. The 2 teams in front of the Owls, SMU and Houston, play each other next, so the Owls need a win in their final game, and they're hoping the SMU-Houston game does not end in a draw. Let's head to the men's side as the Owls faced off against UConn on Saturday. A goal from sophomore Michael Borger gets the Owls on the board first. The team adds to its lead a bit later when a shot that bounces off the head of junior Pierre Kayat finds the back of the net. That's his second goal in as many games. Temple takes the win 2-1. Make that 4 straight wins for the team. Next up for the Owls is a trip down south to take on Tulsa.
The Tulsa game is big as the Owls are eyeing home field in the postseason.
Joining us live from the Temple Sports Complex is OwlSports Update's Stephen Rice Snyder. Steve, the Owls are peaking at just the right time.
Yes, it was a great month of October for the Owls. 5 wins in just 7 games. With the recent winning streak, the Owls are poised to make a push far into the postseason.
After Saturday night's win against conference rival UConn, men's soccer is now rapidly approaching postseason on a 4-game win streak, preparing for possibly its hardest games yet.
It's our biggest game of the season. We've taken that approach from the beginning of preseason, was just get better every day and improve game upon game.
That's the most important game of the season. They're always a tough opponent. No matter who we play in conference, it's going to be a tough physical game. So it's definitely our most important game of the season.
Conference record of 3-1-1 and 2 conference games left to play, the men's team have already clinched a spot in the playoffs, getting them one step closer to another one of these.
Our first goal was to qualify for the AAC tournament, so we were able to reach that goal. I think, after that, we want to. We've made no bones about. We want to compete for championships in this league and beyond.
The main goal is to obviously to play the conference tournament and to win, but also to go to the NCAA tournament. Yeah.
With only 2 games left against Tulsa and SMU, the Owls can finish as high as 3rd or as low as 6th in the conference tournament. Getting a 3-seed guarantees at least 1 home game in the postseason, but it all starts with Tulsa this weekend.
Like I said, we're taking it 1 game at a time. So the most important game of the season's on Friday, and then after that it'll be Tuesday against SMU.
If the Owls are able to win out, they will put themselves in not only the running for home advantage, but even a potential first-round bye. However, the only thing the team is concerned with is their next game.
Yes, that game against SMU is going to be a tough one. The Mustangs are 12-1-1 on the year and ranked top 10 nationally. I'm Stephen Rice Snyder reporting live from the Temple Sports Complex. Sean O'Brien, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much. Temple men's basketball is set to tip off next week. The Owls hosted Media Day at the Leah Core Center to give us a glimpse, and this includes a pair of brothers who are playing side by side for the first time. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. That phrase means a bit more to one pair of Temple brothers who find themselves sharing the court once again. Nate Pierre-Louis, a junior guard and a captain of the Owls men's basketball team, will share the court with his younger brother, freshman Josh Pierre-Louis.
You always want to have your little baby brother with you. You have his back. And my parents always told me I'm my brother's keeper, so I'll try my best to do that job every single day.
For Josh, Nate was someone he could look up to and get inspiration from. Growing up, Josh would try and match his brother's skill set.
One-on-one every day, the backyard, front yard used to be crazy. I'd cry. I had multiple tantrums outside where my dad watches him just drill me. I looked up to him. Whatever moves that he could teach me, I wanted to steal from him.
I won. But he got a lot better.
From Plainfield, New Jersey and Roselle Catholic High School all the way to North Broad Street and Temple University, the Pierre-Louis brothers are looking to make the Leah Center their new home. They were never fixated on being on the same team. However, with the presence of McKee and the family-oriented atmosphere around campus, Josh made his decision to come to Temple, and they have one goal in mind: winning.
To be honest, I want to impact the game. I want to run the team. I want to help us win a national championship. That's our goal as a team.
With their new head coach, Aaron McKee, the Pierre-Louis brothers and the Owls are preparing for their season opener on November 5th against their City 6 rival, the Drexel Dragons. Certainly a lot to look forward to with this Temple team, but it's time for another quick timeout. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, historic changes for the NCAA. Plus, coverage from volleyball's busy weekend at McGonigal Hall, where the team hoped to break its losing streak.
And recaps for field hockey's games versus Villanova and Rutgers over the weekend. Don't go anywhere. OwlSports Update. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update, everybody. Let's talk about a team struggling in conference this season. Just one conference win for field hockey and a Big East matchup against Villanova this past Friday. This time, though, the Owls, they get the outcome they're looking for, a 3-0 win after a scoreless first period. The Owls managed one goal in each of the remaining quarters to seal the win. Danny Bates, Catherine Edker, and Nienke Orlemans all find the back of the cage to snap the Owls' 3-game losing streak. After its matchup versus Villanova, the team had a short road trip to New Jersey, where it narrowly lost on Sunday afternoon in an extremely tough battle against nationally ranked Rutgers. The only goal comes from Rutgers redshirt senior Austin Cuneo at the start of the fourth quarter. As a result, the Scarlet Knights hand Temple a 1-0 loss. Field hockey has one more conference matchup this season, but volleyball still in the meat of its schedule.
Yeah, 6 conference matchups to go. This team is struggling with only one win in their last 9 matches. The Owls looked on to take on Tulsa last Friday at Pearson McGonigal Hall, where it was Hawaiian night. And Hooter getting in on the action, everyone in attendance wearing their bucket hats and their leis, and even the head coach getting into the theme. And it was a tight first set, and the energy was certainly there. But unfortunately, though, it seems as if the team couldn't hold on to some of its early match success. The Owls weren't even able to win a single set in the match, losing 3-0. This was Temple's 4th straight loss.
But the Owls did snap that 4-match losing streak against Wichita State just 2 days later. The Owls recorded a 3-0 sweep on the day. Sophomore Peyton Boyd added 15 kills. And Tyler Lindgren, she's been killing it all season. She notched a team-high 33 assists, which is one more than the entire Wichita State team. The Owls face Cincinnati in Ohio on Friday.
Time for us to take our last break of the day, but don't you worry, we have a jam-packed end of the show.
We enter the Twilight Zone and take a look at some of the ghosts of Temple's past. Plus, I tell you about a member of the gymnastics team who knows her way around a camera. Don't go anywhere. OwlSports Update will be right back.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. The times are changing for the NCAA. The Board of Governors voted unanimously to allow student athletes to be paid for the use of their name, image, and likeness. Chair of the board for the NCAA, Michael Drake, said we must embrace change to provide the best possible experience for college athletes. But there's still a long way to go on this, as the NCAA is looking for recommendations as to how to implement this by 2021.
8 years ago, Jackie Turpak began posting gymnastics competition highlights, and it carried over to her life at Temple. Now she films her and her team during the season, all while balancing the responsibilities that come with being a student athlete. Between studying and going to practice, Division I athletes have little time for themselves. Jackie Turpak finds her leisure by shooting videos of her and her team.
and it all began with a gifted GoPro from high school.
I started making videos with that, and then it kind of carried into college, and I just really enjoyed taking videos of the team and making them, and they're just like fun to watch.
Jackie's skills behind the camera are appreciated by her team, and it seems the fans like them too, as some of her videos have eclipsed 2,000 views.
She is a big supporter behind the scenes. I mean, the video work and all things like that. To be able to be on a Division I gymnastics team and have the talent of video and video editing is amazing.
Jackie's able to express her creativity in many different ways, whether it be on the mat in the gym or on her YouTube channel, where she's been vlogging for the last 3 years.
We did a few vlog style videos last year, like throughout season, so once season gets started again, we're most likely going to be making like some more of them. I was actually doing them every week for like Tug Talk 2, which is like a thing our team does and posts on Instagram and stuff, and so I always made that like a part of my schedule. Like I always made sure to like block time out to do that.
Jackie's videos started 8 years ago with little to no audience. Her brand has since expanded to nearly 300 subscribers. And if vlogging isn't enough, Jackie's able to outlet her creativity through her sport management major.
I also am a brand captain, so I get to work with the sports like media team and everything. It's just been really fun.
You can check out Jackie on all of her social media pages when the team hits the road. You can also watch her in person all season long at McGonigal Hall. The gymnastics team has 5 home meets this season, including the ECAC championships. Time for our Twitter poll of the week. Let's talk some hoops. We want to know if you think the men's basketball team will eclipse its win total from last year.
Of course, that win total was 23 wins, so it's certainly no easy task. But Aaron McKee and company seem to be up for the challenge. Go on our Twitter at OwlSportsUpdate and let us know your vote. And honestly, Sean, I think 23 wins is attainable. I think Aaron McKee has these guys tight-knit, and I think they're feeling a good season coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. 23 wins, that is tough, and they lost Shiz Austin and Fran Dunphy. But hey, let's stop the Twitter poll talk for now, and let's enter the Twilight Zone. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
Temple has a long history of athletics, and historically, it's been pretty positive.
And Temple's hopes this tradition carries out in the present. So let's take a look at some of the players and teams that remind us of Temple's past.
I have a short trip back to 2017 from my part of the Twilight Zone. Believe it or not, this year's men's soccer team and the 2017 team are very similar, scary similar in fact. The 2017 Owls finished their season versus SMU in the AAC tournament. This year's team ends its regular season versus the Mustangs at the Temple Sports Complex. This year's team also is 7-6-1 at the moment, while the 2017 team finished at 9-8-1, a very possible outcome if the team keeps up this play for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to go a bit farther back with what we've seen so far from true freshman running back Ramon Davis. It's eerily similar to Bernard Pierce's make and model, 2 stout, strong runners who handle the rock with ease. It's also similar to the way Paul Palmer used to run the rock. Well, we can talk sports all day long, but my parents always told me that school comes first. Check out our Twitter at OwlSportsUpdate for an exclusive look at how the Owls student athletes are flying high in the classroom.
All of our coaches were Temple graduates for the most part, so they just know how important it is to get a degree and that how that sets you up for life after basketball. It was a short video that came out the other day where Mark Tyndale was talking about how this is a lifelong scholarship, not just a 4-year scholarship. So basically that's just kind of how this works.
That's going to do it for this haunted episode of Owl Sports Update. Be sure to follow us on our social media at Owl Sports Update for all the coverage you need on Temple sports.
Plus, tune in on Tuesday for another episode of Inside the Nest with Brooklyn Vaughn and Dan Wilson. For Brian Steinmetz, I'm Sean McGeehan. Have a great weekend, everyone, and happy Halloween!